Hi, I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. We don't normally tell the date of the taping because that keeps the show timeless, but it is the holiday. Today is the winter solstice. That means that the Earth is turning on its axis, and we will now be getting a minute more sunlight every day. It's still going to get cold out, and it's probably going to get colder. And, we're into winter now and the holiday season. And I'm so excited to have Barbara back on the show. It's actually a year ago that she came on the show, and she's been working diligently on her project. Thank you, Barbara, for coming on.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for having me again.
I'm so excited that you're here.
So am I. I'm glad to be back.
Awesome. Talk about the year that's gone by.
Oh, wow. It's been a year. We've just done so many great things. We had a couple of our girls who were in the group home go into their own living space. So with donations that we received, we were able to help give them a microwave, one of them, towels, lamps. So we were excited to be able to do that. We had our boys come, and some of them have been released, and we've let them know that we're here. So whatever they need, definitely call Take Trips, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Yes.
And we had a great actress. I'm sure everyone knows her. Mm-hmm. She played Hilary Banks on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Miss Karen Parsons. She came on virtual with us and talked to the youth, and it was a great time.
Great.
Yeah, we've just been doing a lot of different things. We've started to work with the Austin Youth Bureau. They have an awesome array of youth programs going on, so we've been being a part of that, and we invited them to come on to the virtual conversation with Karen Parsons. So we're just trying to make sure that our youth know that Take Trips is mentally, emotionally, spiritually is here, and that we are honoring our mission, and our mission is just to work tirelessly to ensure that especially youth of color, they are given a chance once they transition from the detention or the incarceration system.
Excellent. Yeah. I believe that we're all called to do something, and obviously something good, hopefully. But, it is the holiday season, it is Christmas, and when God came down and told Mary that she was going to have a baby and that he was going to be something special, mm-hmm. She was the only one that didn't argue. Right away, she said, I am your handmaid, mm-hmm. When he spoke to Moses, Moses was like, no way, I'm not doing nothing. He had to go down in the burning bush and tell him like 5 times, no, you got to do this. You got to mm-hmm. take my people out of Egypt. Mm-hmm. And then how about Jonah was in the belly of a whale for how many days?
Oh, yeah.
And, and then he finally had to do what he had to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's hard
yes.
to follow your calling. And I know even for me, to come on and tell people to get involved. I think that is one of my callings. I probably have a few more that I need to get out. Yeah. But tell us how you were called.
Well, I love to say it was 2 different things, mm-hmm. Personally and professionally. Professionally, I work with youth who are in the detention. And so I think the big takeaway for me, or the big moment that I said I need to do something, was a youth transitioned out in November of 2018, and a month later, in December of 2018, he returned. And that was, I just couldn't believe that, and I was like, what just happened here? And then professionally, it was my brother. My brother was a part, he is the real catalyst for Take Trips, MES. Mm. He was a part of the Mississippi prison system for most of his adult life. And upon being released in 2015, he was released in 2014, and he was out for almost a year. September of 2015, he would have made 1 year out, and he'd never been off of paper for one solid year. And right before that, in August of 2015, he took his own life. And so I know that he suffered from, untreated trauma, and the prison system can only add to, that. So I decided, you know what? I don't want another family to feel what my family felt with losing my brother, and what I feel when I see the youth, increasing the recidivism rate. Yes. So these two things were big for me, and I said, I need to be a part of a solution. I don't want to just sit and say, oh, wow, look at what happened. Yeah. I want to be a part of change. I want to be a part of a solution. Yeah. So I decided that the solution was to create an organization that would address, trauma, that would address hurt, where we could, come to, or we can have the individuals come to a place where they can heal. And I think that that's the big thing, take a journey and heal. And that's what we need to do. Yes. And so that was the big catalyst for me. And that was the big turning point for me, was to say, this is what we need to do. And so I'm sure that my brother, and this, it's funny that we're doing this in December, because my brother's birthday, it just passed. It was December 12th, yes. 12/12. And so, I always feel like this is an ode to him, to show him that his life was definitely worth something, and no matter how society saw him, he was my baby brother, and he meant the world to us. And we know how, if we don't attack trauma and just let it be untreated, then it's going to eat at you. And so that's what I believe happened to him, that it just ate away at him, yes. to where he just couldn't take it anymore. And so, he took his own life, and we are here. And, I think that the organization that I have started is an ode to him, and I think he's definitely happy about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's so important. You're doing something now. You're not just talking about it, and it's so important. We can't just keep brushing these things under the carpet, because it gets to be too much. Then it's a mountain, and it's not a molehill anymore. Absolutely. What are some of the hurdles that you're dealing with now?
I think it's just, the biggest hurdle for us right now is getting the word out there, is making sure that people know that there's no real rehabilitation once in the prison system. So I think that we have to make sure that individuals know, listen, there needs to be more help once an individual transition out from the incarceration system or the detention system. And we actually help youth 14 to 24 years of age. So we want to make sure that folks know that Take Trips MES, we are providing services. We are providing mentoring services. We are providing job readiness, parental services, because these are the things that they need. These are the things that when an individual transition out, they need, especially a mentor. They need someone to take that walk with them. We have a saying where I thought about, what would be a great quote for Take Trips that sums up what we do? And the quote was, the journey can start with one, yes. but the road is built for many. Yes. So it's not, and it's hard, because to stand up alone, that's a hard thing, because who wants to be the lone voice to say, look over here? No one wants to do that. No. And so I think that that's what we did. We decided, you know what, we're going to stand up, and now we still need other folks to join the journey. So, it started with, my brother, then it went to me, and now, it's the individuals that we're helping. But we still need other folks to come aboard, be a part of this, because the more people to see that change is needed, the more that we will get the change. But you have to see that change is needed first.
Yep. I honestly believe that people do want to do the right thing, and they do want to help. And I've always said, if you just took them by the hand and said, okay, here, this is how you do it, come over here. Casey Morbido started a food pantry here in Verplank. And once the word got out, people are looking for things to help. And now she's got enough people to help. But the word got out, and that's exactly what you're trying to do. So you're looking for space.
Yes, we are definitely trying. We actually would like to get some space because we want to be able to help an array of youth. We don't want to just hone in on Westchester County or the inner city, the boroughs. We want to be somewhere in the middle where we can get both, because there are youth in Yonkers, Greenburgh, the Bronx, Brooklyn. We want all of those youth to be able to come to a central location and feel safe. And, because a lot of them, there's transitioning from the system back into their old communities. Their communities where they were in gangs, where, believe it or not, some of the youth, you have to listen to their story. Some of them are saying, my mother got fired. I had to go out and get money to make sure that my siblings were able to eat. That's just a reality for some of our youth. So we are now looking for, we have just signed up with the Charities Bureau, which is by our great Attorney General, Letitia James. Yeah. So we just signed up for that. So everyone, more individuals and more organizations can now see and really kind of dive into what Take Trips MES is about. We've hooked into the mayor's office in New York City. So we are diligently working to make sure that different entities know that we exist, and that's why we have been working with the Ossining Youth Bureau, just again making sure that no matter where youth are, they know that we are available, and we are trying to work on getting mentors, because as you said before, as a child, our parents held our hand as we crossed the street. But as we grew older and learned how to cross the street on our own, then the parents said, they're fine. And that's something that you have to do. Sometimes you have to reteach, because some of our youth have been in the system for so long that they need that reteaching of how to be out in society and how to, what does being a good citizen look like? You can tell them you need to be a good citizen. What does that look like? Yeah. And that's what we really wanted. We want to make sure that they know, you need to be a good citizen, but here's what it looks like to be a good citizen.
And it's, education, education, education.
Absolutely.
I mean, the more you know, the more, able you are to do. There's a saying, ignorance is the cause of evil, but knowledge is power.
Right.
And, and you were even stated in your mission statement that, you could give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, but if you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Absolutely.
And it's just that connection, that bringing them in, giving them a little education. You also made a statement that, there's things that people aren't saying that needs to be said,
Yeah.
And it's so true. All right, well, these kids went to school. How come they didn't learn anything? Well, it wasn't the right time.
Right. And we have to, and I'm sorry, Victor, but we have to think about, sometimes when we think about what the youth are going through at home, school is not their first concern sometimes for some of these youth. Their first concern is, how am I going to eat? How am I going to get food for my siblings? So sometimes school takes a back step to that. And they're not going to be able to do anything anyway. If I'm going to school hungry and tired,
Right.
all I want to do is eat and take a nap and go to sleep.
Yeah.
So that's still a failure right there.
That's right.
So those things need to be addressed, and I believe that they're not being addressed in the proper setting, in the proper manner. So we have to make sure that we are saying, what's happening? Let's talk about this. Let's figure out. But again, as you said, it has to be the open conversation. The quiet conversation needs to be out loud. Yeah.
And it's tough. Like you said, they're hungry and they're tired, and they're not wearing the best clothes, so they feel, not of. And, it's very difficult,
Yeah.
But this is now an opportunity for you and us to come together and seat these kids down. Like you said, if they go back on the street, they're back in the gang, and they need money. There's no doubt about it. And it's hard to get a job when you have a record. So these are things that need to be dealt with.
Exactly. And it's a good thing, that there's so many different organizations that's dealing with prison reform, and prison reform is great and what's happening, but there is some things that are not truly being addressed. We want to get them out of the prison system, but once they are out, what happens?
Right.
You don't want to just bring someone out and have them just running around loose in the neighborhood. Who wants that? No, you want to have them come out and come in and go into something positive, something that's going to help move them in the right direction. And that's a journey, and it's a process. It does not happen overnight.
No.
It's a process, and it's a journey, and it will take some longer than others. But that is why I thought that, take trips would be a great thing, because you need to be able to take trips mentally, and it's not, I had someone say, I read something on one of the social media, oh, do you sponsor trips? And so, you know what? I was like, oh, okay, let me take this moment. This is a teachable moment. And I said, no, we are telling you to not take trips literally.
Yeah.
We don't want you to do that. We want you to take trips to healing, take trips mentally to heal your inner being, take trips emotionally to heal your inner being, and spiritually. Yeah. So that's a big thing, because we don't know how to do that. It may sound very simple, but there's so many people who do not know how to take a trip mentally. Just sit back for 5 minutes, close your eyes, and just meditate and just take a mental break. But again, it has for some people, they need to be taught that, and that's a big thing with our youth. They don't know, because they're just rambunctious, and they just want to do things, and they just want to be, okay, I'm going to do this. No, relax for a second. Take your time and sit back, close your eyes for a second, relax, And so that is definitely what we are pushing, and for some, we're noticing that it's helping some of our girls moving in the right direction, and I'm just mentoring them and ensuring that they, a lot of the girls are working, so that's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a good thing.
There's no doubt about it. I know when I was that age, I was, I loved to go out, hang out with my friends, have a good time, and the drinking was there. You have a lot of peer pressure and everything else, and you want to have fun,
That's part of being a teenager and
It
growing
is.
up.
It's- There's no doubt about it, The problem is sometimes you like drinking too much.
That is it. Yeah.
And then, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah, the too much. Yeah, the over, Sometimes, I hear, the overachiever, but then sometimes we overdo different things.
Right.
And so, but again, that is something that needs to be taught. Those are lessons. Yeah. And we have to take every situation and be able to teach something different. Because if we don't, we get the same thing, and it becomes a generational curse. And we want to stop, and we want to end those generational curses, and we want to say, here's something different. And a lot of times, our youth really crave that. They want that. They want something different. They just never had anyone to say, listen, I'm going to give it to you. And I think that that's a big thing that we have to start doing, and we have to be very vigilant about that and say, you know what, I'm not going to stop. Because, again, I truly believe they don't really want you to stop.
No. Yeah. We all need to be loved. We all need to, feel a part of, to belong, and that's kind of why a gang works.
Right.
Because, these people all get together and they're, it's like a family, really.
Yeah.
It's just the problem is where they get their money.
Exactly. And the other things, the beating and, the different things,
right.
drugs. And, now with the females, it's big, this whole sex trafficking. That's something that's not being discussed. We talk about, the drug use and there's a whole big thing of, in New York State, should we legalize marijuana? Should it not be legalized? What's going on? But there's very little talk about, sex trafficking and what's happening with the teenage girls and with the young girls. And that's a big thing that needs to be discussed. And so we're having those conversations with my young ladies who are in the group home. We are definitely talking, and I'm saying, look, this is real. And it needs to be discussed more. And I don't think it's getting enough shine as it should. So these are the things that we're dealing with in our organization when we are mentoring these youth, the young ladies, the young men. These are the things that we are discussing.
And it's
because,
so important.
Yeah, we have
huge.
it. It is extremely huge. And so it takes a lot to keep that going. And the only way we can keep that going and keep the conversations going is we need the community's help. We need donations. We need, the community to come out and back us on this and say, you know what, we want to see these youth do different and be different, because when you know different, you do different.
Yes, right. I honestly believe if people knew better, they would do the right thing. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
So tell us about how can we see you? What is the website? And
Oh, wow. Our website is taketripsmes.org. We are on all of the social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We are all over. Facebook, but our website, you can contact us. You want to get in touch with us, you want to know more about what we're doing, especially coming into the new year. We are we have reached out rather to a great politician in Tennessee who she spent some time in the incarceration system, and now she's a politician. Wow. She just wrote a book. It's called Bending the Arc, and we heard Miss Khadijah Haynes, Miss Khadijah Haynes, and we are in talks with her. We are trying to have her come and speak to our youth. So that's a big thing we are looking forward to for 2020, and just really ensuring that our youth are getting the necessary essentials that they need.
Excellent.
And so we are always, asking the public. We don't say, oh, just donate money. No, we are looking for clothing items, because as you can, when I said earlier, when our two of our girls moved into their own place, they had no sheets.
Right.
They had no lamps. She needed a microwave. So lucky for us, we had some money in the budget, and we were able to get these things and forward it to them. So that's a good thing. So we just continue to ask the community to help, because it takes a village.
Yes.
And
There's
that
no
has
doubt.
never changed.
No.
It has never changed. It takes a village. And I know it's an old saying, but it's the truth. It takes a village.
What are you doing for you?
Oh, wow.
Because you gotta have the energy to keep up with all this. So.
You know what? I keep doing because it's what gets me going. So I'm always thinking of new ways of what can I do to help, because then I feel if I'm helping, I'm a better person. I'm a better me.
Yes.
So, I feel like if I just sit by and I see this happening, I can't be a better me. So it actually fuels me and makes me feel like I am being a part of something great. Yes. So if I stopped, I don't know what I'd probably go under the sheets and never come out. So I think that's what I'm doing for me. I think just seeing the smile on a youth's face gives me great joy.
It's awesome.
And so that for me is good. And then, the other thing is I get about 2 hours of sleep, and so as long as I get 2 hours in there, I'm kind of good. But yeah, that's really what
Yeah.
It's really all about enhancing their journeys and making sure that they are in the right direction, because I've been there. I know what it is to, have a baby as a teenager. I know what that is. So I know what it is to struggle, and even though some struggles are different, struggle is struggle.
That's right.
So I just kind of take things one day at a time, and I breathe, and I say, breathe. Because I myself have to take mental trips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to meditate. I have to sit in a corner. I have to, get my yoga mat out. And that's something, my friend and I, we were talking, and we were speaking to a mother of a student who's going to transition. And the mother said, I don't know, I'm not sure how to parent my child because I haven't done it for so long. So we are thinking of getting a parent group together.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and talk to parents and say, because we don't come with books.
No.
Parents don't come with books. So we are nervous. I was a nervous parent.
Yeah.
And so we want to definitely hone in on that. I just don't know when that will happen because I'm working on so many different things.
Well, that's it. Don't try to do too much.
Yeah.
You got to stay focused.
I'm definitely working on so many. I'm hoping
because
to have
what
my
you're
book
doing
out
will
soon.
open the doors to many things.
Yeah.
And this parenting thing, though, is huge.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, the library has about 100 books on parenting, but the trick is just opening the book.
Just opening them.
There's so many great ideas,
Yeah.
too.
And then, I think, Victor, sometimes what really helps is to hear a parent that looks like you, that have experienced
Yes,
the
there's
things
no
that
doubt
you
about
have
that.
experienced. I think that gives you much more than, the book could ever give you.
Yeah.
When you can go and sit and talk with someone who's maybe had those same experiences or that knows what you're going through
that's key.
and can say, you know what, I think that this can help, and then, grab this book because
and then it would mean more.
absolutely.
Barbara, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me once again.
I'm Victor Margiotta. This is the Community Show. Please get involved in the community.